What's up, everybody? This is episode 7 of Life's a Garden. Welcome back to another episode of Life's a Garden. Today's guest is a mega comic book fan. He also dabbles in the world of sports, music, and conspiracy theories.
Yes, yeah.
And in our friend group, he is known as the resident old person. Welcome to the show,
yeah.
Jared Ewen.
Thank you very much, I guess. I don't know, clapping.
Yeah, right.
Going on
I'll add the applause.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Nothing, just nice Saturday having off, I guess.
Yeah,
about it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you got some sun.
Yeah, I went swimming yesterday for about an hour and a half.
Right.
Spent outside, yeah. No sunscreen. Got a nice red back.
Yeah, I can't do the no sunscreen thing.
It's not too bad, but it's
Well, I'm the bleach white skin type, so I either.
Well, so am I. You just can't see it right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't tan at all. I have 3 shades: white, pink, and red.
Yeah.
So
I get pretty white from the wintertime, and then I start tanning.
Right. Yeah. I have to. When we went to Vegas, I had like a little pocket bottle of sunscreen because I knew everywhere I go.
I burn, but like a couple days later, it's a nice tan.
So
I know everybody says that, but it's kind of true.
I'm jealous of it.
Yeah.
I can't ever get that.
If I will burn like really bad though. Like I'm pretty white anyway, so
Right.
I'll burn if I stay outside too long. Yeah.
Yesterday wasn't even really that hot.
No, it was warm though. It was
right.
Yeah.
I almost I had heat exhaustion. Like I thought
What were you doing?
I was at work.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that shop gets really
Just
hot.
Not drinking water then?
I don't know. I felt like I was drinking quite a bit of water because I drank water at lunch and then I always
dizzy and lightheaded kind of thing? Yeah.
Like I literally.
That's the worst.
It was so bizarre because I'll get faint every now and again if it feels like almost like a blood sugar thing.
Like if you haven't eaten
right.
Or like
or if I just eat and then I go straight into
that's your sugar addiction right there.
Probably. That's what my first thought was, that I was having one of those, and usually what I gotta do is just sit down and relax for a minute and
I usually drink some water.
Or even if I have something like a little piece of candy or something,
or
it'll calm it down.
That's what's nice working at Olive Garden. Drink a little soda.
See, and I don't really have that exactly right where I'm at, but sometimes that'll help. But it was just different. Like I was faint, lightheaded, and like my breathing slowed down and my heart was like pounding. It was so to the point where I've had it. I thought I was going to have to ask somebody to take me to the doctor. I was like, it felt like being high.
Yeah.
Like a panic.
Yeah, it's almost like you're, I don't know, it's weird. It's like you're like nauseous too.
Yeah.
Like you almost feel like you're going to throw up. But
that's what started it.
It's like a coffee jitters. Have you ever drank too much coffee and get like a little sick? Yeah.
It's almost like a panic attack.
Or a nicotine buzz where you just smoke too much. I don't know.
I've never had nicotine.
Cigars or anything like that.
Okay.
We were smoking cigars last night actually.
Oh, were you?
Starting to get a nicotine buzz and I'm like, oh. Your stomach starts to feel queasy, you get hot, like sweaty kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, so I had to sit in front of the AC. We have like little AC units, and I sat in front of that, didn't really do anything. Then I took my shoes off and rolled my pant legs up, immediately started relieving it.
They say when your hands and feet are really hot, you'll stay hot, but if your hands are cold, you'll stay cold, so like it helps maybe a little bit. So taking your socks off probably did help a lot.
It was a weird feeling. Like I was freaking out.
I hate it, because you feel like, should I go to the doctor, or is this not a big deal? Like, is this going to go away?
Of course, your mind starts going everywhere. It's like with paranoia.
Well, that's like when my back was all messed up. It was starting to hurt my chest, but I thought it was like my heart hurting, and so I went and got tested. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, your back's sore. It's tight, so it's like it's the inside muscles are making it feel like it's your your heart, but it's actually just your back pulling on those muscles. So it's, you know what I mean? So it's just you get scared, so you want to get
I've had like a running. I don't want to say it's like I've had tooth issues, like on one of my back teeth. It was I had to have a root canal on it, didn't fix it, then did other things, didn't fix it, and like there was a point when I had to basically self-medicate myself and drain it myself.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't had issues with it since.
Yeah.
But there's still like
you probably should still get that checked
What
out.
I'm gonna end up having to do is probably have it pulled.
Yeah.
But I've had it like this where it's, been after the root canal 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, I still feel like there's something there.
Yeah.
And every now and again it'll flare up, like just slightly, but not to the point of like concern.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel
do?
like
You put just like salt water in your
I don't do anything. Like it doesn't affect me at all.
Okay.
It's just there's like it's almost like a slight like bump there, where I feel like it could still be some abscessing in there.
So it ever gets.
So, but it never blows up. Like it hasn't done that for over a year.
Yeah.
But it still makes me feel like there's some kind of infection in there. So I get paranoid, thinking, okay, I'm gonna get infection in my sinuses and into my fucking brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Does it work like that though? Like,
I don't know.
Okay, I don't.
But that's just my mind over.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, that's the exact same thing with what I did, and then it was making my anxiety worse. So then that was making my heart palpitate because I was getting anxiety. So then they were like, "Well, you have a weird heart palpitation. So let's check it out for a while." And then they were like, "No, you're fine." You know what I mean? Like, had to wear a heart monitor for a week. It cost
so
me like
weird.
$500. I know. You know what I mean? Like
just out of paranoia.
Yeah, just so I would find out that I have anxiety, basically. And it's just like, okay. So
Well,
then after that, it's fine. Like, my chest starts to tighten or whatever, I just stretch and, like, you know what I mean? Take a couple deep breaths and it's like, it goes away. Like,
right. Well, and now especially if you start coughing or have, like, the slightest chest compression.
Have you had a cough lately and you're like, you know what I mean? When you've had to cough and you're like, oh,
right.
Like, do I have COVID or whatever?
Dude, even last night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt like my chest was tight and I was probably just sleeping on my chest.
Yeah, well, it's the other day I noticed, I was like, I can't breathe today. I was like, I wonder if I have COVID. And I was like, dude, you've been wearing a mask for the past 4 hours. It's like, Of course you can't breathe. Like,
right.
I mean, it's fine. I'm not complaining or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, that's why you can't breathe is you have a mask on. It's not, your anxiety is just going way farther than it needs to kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. I've had friends who have been complaining about being tired. And I'm like, well, it's probably because you're wearing that mask. You're not getting, like, sufficient amount of oxygen.
That or you're breathing harder.
Right.
So it's like
so you're working harder.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just like this year too has been because everybody had that time off too. Most people, anyway.
Right.
So they got kind of not lazy but relaxed, and so now going back into the routine again has been hard for a lot of people.
Or the opposite, and you're overstressed.
Yeah, or you were overworking because you were having to work for everybody else,
or stressing about not working.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a combination of all kinds of things. And
well, and plus, like we were talking about, is like just the media, let alone, can stress a lot of people out with what's been going on. Like it's just been kind of
everything, not just COVID, but
yeah. Well, I mean that amplifies it times 10.
It's like we're just spiraling into this
unknown
end of world type situation.
Well, it's like an unknown territory, so we're all scared, and it's like it'll probably be all right. Like most likely, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah.
You just don't know. But yeah, anxiety can go crazy ways.
Did you see where they announced about the UFO thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. So I wonder. I don't know. I wonder what's gonna happen, because they were saying like it is things coming from outer space, right? Like they're confirming.
They said this is not of this world.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole background story.
Because like I just read an article the other day, and they were trying to say that like it still might be a possibility that it's like China or Russia has this like new technology that they're using,
and we're not aware of it.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, if it's doing what they say it's doing, that's way too quick of an advance for propulsion, like you know what I mean, like technology out of what you make it out of, or what, you know what I mean, like that's too much. It jumped too quickly.
Now wait, are you referring to the Navy thing?
Well, the Pentagon just admitted to having a program where they're searching UFOs,
right?
And then the Navy has admitted to UFOs
that sighting.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, I guess. Yeah, but
well, Joe Rogan he posted a thing about how they just found a vehicle, like an actual like vehicle that is not of this world, like a spacecraft.
Okay, I thought they were saying they think there are vehicles.
Oh no,
that they actually have.
They said the Pentagon has like one in possession and is
okay. Well, see, and then I think that's a lie. Then I think they've had more than one, but that's just my opinion. Like I don't know.
It's just
like, there's been too many like. People have been talking about this for way too long, saying that they've had stuff like the Bob Lazar thing and like you know all that kind of stuff. Like I don't know, it's just
there's almost too much of it to not be true though.
Yeah, I know, but that's what they like to do is spread a lot of disinformation, just because then you don't know if it is true or not. You know what I mean? Which I wouldn't put past our government to put a Bob Lazar type person out there just to kind of like divert you from what they're actually doing. So you know what I mean? It could just be, they could be extra dimensional beings that are, you know, doing stuff, and we don't even, you know what I mean? It might not be from Jupiter or whatever, Mars. They might be from the 4th or 5th dimension that are coming here and doing stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like we don't, you know, that's why they haven't told us, because it's a concept we can't grasp. I don't know.
It's just funny how
it's scary, because like it's 2020. We were joking about having UFOs next or whatever.
And then sure enough,
meme? Yeah. It's just, who knows though.
It's just funny how.
Well, I mean, even the Catholic Church admits to seeing UFOs and like knowing that UFOs exist and stuff like that. So it's like even the Pope says it's okay. Like
there's some, and like I was gonna say, the you hear people, you know, trying to claim their truth, and then you can't even believe that. It's, you know, I don't know. It was something you said there made me think about it. It's like government comes out and tells us stuff, but it's like we can't believe that necessarily.
I know, which sucks, because like I don't know, some things you like, okay, I believe them on what they say on that, but then there's other things you're like, I don't know. So like the things that you do believe them, are they not true that you do? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, I don't know.
So ultimately, it kind of just comes down to what you believe and what you feel.
Or you see like them give out evidence, like hard proof evidence. But I mean, just the whole, like, I don't know. Have you watched the Bob Lazar?
Yeah.
Talking about Joe Rogan again.
Yeah.
Episode, because he talks about that element, and like that wasn't invented until like 10, 15 years after he had known about it or whatever.
He worked at Area 51, right?
Well, he was talking. Yeah, it was. It's not technically Area 51. It's like a sub part of Dulce, New Mexico, I think. The Air Force Base there. I think it's called like S1 or something like that. And yeah, he was working on the propulsion system of some UFO thing or whatever. It's a certain one, because they said they had like 9 ships, and he said there was different types, I think, too. Yeah. So yeah.
And it was some element that
they were using, and like now they can make it or whatever in the Hadron Collider or whatever they have. Yeah, it's all that crazy.
So bizarre.
I know. Yeah, that's. But to like know about something, and then they're like, that doesn't exist, and then like 20, 15 years later, whenever it was, they're like, yeah, okay, it does exist.
There's something fishy there.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, and like, the crazy part is, I think I remember, is they were saying that the man-made stuff deteriorates right away.
Okay.
Because I think it's radioactive, or I don't know. I'm bro science right now.
Sure.
But it deteriorates or whatever, and that their element was staying stable constantly. And they were like, how the hell did they do that? Because, like, we can't keep it to stay without, like, breaking up or whatever. It's like, we can put it together, but it just breaks apart. But theirs is, like, some element that keeps generating energy and stays stable. I don't know. It's just crazy.
I can't even... I thought I knew the name of the element, and then I lost it.
It's like 186 or 146. Or
some number.
Remember. Yeah.
Yeah, the... It wouldn't surprise me at this point. Like, nothing's going to surprise me at this point.
I know, it's going to be interesting.
It feels like things are kind of moving toward normal.
I know. It's kind of funny, though, because I don't know if you've ever heard the conspiracy theory that there's, like, reptilians on Earth.
Yeah.
And that they're, like, satanic reptilians. Like, they do satanic rituals and stuff like that. And that's what, like, just as a theory, not my opinion.
Right.
Queen of England is a reptilian. And
that's why she's lived so long.
Yeah, and, like, their family is and all that stuff. And, like, they think, like, some of the other, higher-ups in the United States. But what if that was true? There's a sex pedophilia ring coming out just now. UFOs are being introduced to us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what if all of that story is true? Like, that whole, like, there's reptilians and some other race, and they're like, we're trying to stop the reptilians from killing all of our virgins for their energy or whatever. I don't know. It's just kind of funny that it's like, there is a sex ring. And
for sure.
And there is UFOs now, so, like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Right. So, yeah, I just watched the Epstein documentary.
Was it the Netflix one?
Yeah.
I hate watching it. I'm sorry. And
really?
It pisses me off. Like, it's so gross. Like,
yeah.
It's like, I don't know. And, like, I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to say that, but it bugs me to, like, hear the guy talk about, like, girls with braces massaging him and shit like that.
Sure.
It's just, like...
It's interesting to, like...
Sleazy. It's so gross.
It's definitely not the pedophilia aspect of it that's, like, intriguing. It's the fact that they got away with it for so long, and because of all the intertwinings of the government.
Do you think that's what they get off on? It's not so much like the pedophilia.
I think it's a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, it's that they can get away with it. That they enjoy knowing that they can do it to somebody.
That could definitely be part. I mean, it's definitely part of it.
You know what I mean? It's almost like rape, where you know you can force yourself onto somebody and that's what you like, kind of thing.
Right.
It's just I don't know. That to me is gross because I want the girl to like me. I guess I've always been that way. Like, you know what I mean? I want the girl to reciprocate how I feel.
It's just like, and I knew a little bit of this, the story.
The whole intricate thing, though, is crazy.
Yeah, the web of it and the fact that there were so many people involved. And then, you got the Prince...
Edward? Right?
Yeah.
Edward? No.
That sounds right.
I think so. I don't know.
But, the Prince of
he
whatever.
was even saying he had Palm Beach Police Department, so he had police involved and stuff like that, yeah.
And then, the crazy one was the Secretary of... who I can't remember his name.
Are you talking about Podesta?
No.
Podesta? No, because I don't think that was.
I thought his name started with an A, or his last name was.
I don't know. No.
Yeah, I can't think of it either.
I don't know who that was. Yeah.
But he, the guy who he ended up resigning because over the public pressure
of it. I didn't see that part. I guess. I don't know.
God, I can't remember what his name is now.
I did take a nap halfway through it while Anna was watching it.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's definitely crazy. But here's what one thing I want to maybe pick your brain about on conspiracy, because I'm sure you have a few theories on the COVID stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about this after watching that. So, this unfolds all this pedophilia ring and whatnot.
Do you think they put it out just to, like, kind of distract?
It's a possibility. And maybe not so much that it got put out to distract, but it's being blown up to distract. I believe in the disease, and I believe it's a serious thing. And but maybe not as serious as the media and stuff is making it.
I think that's most things nowadays. Is like it's either not like that big of a deal. Even like the protesting, it is a big deal. But like some of the riots and stuff like that, they keep replaying the same footage, and it's not anything like what it. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So it's like. But
it's like they could be being persuaded to focus on those topics.
Is, like China would have to be involved because supposedly it came from China.
See, and I think. That necessarily wasn't part of it. They're just using that as a cover.
Yeah, I guess.
Because think about why are all these other countries now past it and going back to normal, but we're still like it's just becoming like almost worse.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of Hillary being on trial, and then you have.
When is she supposed to go to court?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I just heard about that the other day. Then, I didn't know that she was going to court.
Like Maxwell that Ghislaine Maxwell is.
Is it Aileen?
Something like that. Aileen.
They say it every time, and I feel bad because I miss it. Yeah, but anyways, Maxwell.
She's in custody, and they're talking about releasing files and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like 60 documents or something like that. Yeah, I was reading about it. Stuff about her sex life and like. Some of the stuff about who was on the plane and stuff like that. My one thing is like, okay, so there was a couple people like John Legend went one time.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, one time, right? I mean, there's a few of them that have like, okay, so the people that went one time, it's like I think they went down there and Elon or whoever it was, like they were like, hey, we're part of this, or like you want to be a part of this, and they're like, no thank you, and then they left and they never went back. I think those guys you can kind of excuse, but it's like Bill Clinton who went like 20 times or whatever. It's like, what are you doing down there? It's like the one time you go and you find out it's like this shady ass place and then you leave again, like I could get that. You know what I mean? Like you could be enticed to go down there and then never go back. Like or they just got your footage the one time. Bill's part of it, I think.
For sure. Yeah. Well, and then you got. I mean, as far as those one-timers, you got to start. Then you got to think: did they know about it and not say anything?
Yeah, or did they bring them down there and they were like, "Hey, we're trying to do." They didn't explain all of it.
They were feeling them out a little bit.
Yeah, and they were like, "No, I'm not a part of trying to sell kids on Wayfair or whatever."
Yeah. There's another crazy one too.
I think that's a part of it.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's definitely a part of it. That's why it's large. Like, it's huge. It's worldwide. And I think that's,
Well, yeah,
what was it? It was 600,000 kids go... I keep seeing that. I don't know if it's true or not, but like 600,000 kids go missing every year in the United States, let alone.
That's insane.
Yeah. So...
we have a big problem with that on the reservations, too.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah, really big problem. It's really sad, actually.
See, and a lot of that... leads me to not want to have kids.
I know that's the problem though. It's because it's not safe, but I don't know.
I know.
I feel like
it's a
people
mix.
used to stab each other on stakes and stuff like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a scary world, but it's
a lot safer than it used to be. Even with all the craziness.
With sanitation, let alone, it's 10 times safer than like it even was 100 years ago. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think this pedophilia ring is like huge compared to what they're making it seem to be. They make it seem like it's like 10 people that are a part of this, and it's like you're not selling kids across the world with just like 10 people.
Right.
You know what I mean, you have to have hundreds, if not thousands, of people a part of this. So, and I think that's why it doesn't get uncovered, is because there's so many people involved that it's just not going to, because you would have to jump through so many hurdles, and you would have to get through so many people and stuff like that.
Well, and that's why the Epstein thing was so crazy, is because there were definitely government dealings to protect him. And
first time he got arrested, he only got one charge of
it was soliciting a prostitute.
Yeah. I think it's soliciting prostitution. So like, does that mean he's paying for it then, right? He only had one charge of that,
and something to do with like prostitution of a minor, but it wasn't like even sex of a minor or anything.
And like he didn't even get it. He had like, what was it, 3 or 6 months? I don't remember how many days of probation or whatever. It was house arrest. That's what it was.
It was essentially house arrest. Yeah,
in his mansion.
He had to like report to the jail,
like,
but he basically
or whatever. Yeah,
got to live at home and stuff. With,
he just
with a guard supervision.
Yeah,
and he basically only did like 6 months. Yeah,
which, I mean, I would be cool living in your house for 6 months.
Sure.
If that was better than going to jail. Like, you know what I mean? Let alone his mansion in New York. But, yeah, so, I mean, obviously they stopped it there. Was it New York, or was it... Because I think it was in
Palm Beach.
Yeah, so it was California, right?
No, that's Florida.
Florida, yeah, excuse me.
Florida
Why
was...
is Florida always the shadiest fucking place? Like, it's always, like... Have you ever heard about those, not to change subjects, but in Florida, too, they used to have the pharmacies right next to, like, the doctors. So you could go to the doctor and get your prescription, then go right to the pharmacy, and then get your pharmacy prescription, and then you could go to the next pharmacy and get it, because they didn't have databases. Like, this is even, like, in the early 2000s.
Is this for, like, opiates?
Yeah. Yeah, and so they like, set it up that way to make money, though. It's like, they knew they were going to do that, and, like, I don't know, it's just so, like, I don't know.
I can't
remember.
Florida
causes its own problems, basically.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was just seeing about, but they were talking about the pharmaceutical industries getting paid, so much from the opioid companies to prescribe it, and that's what caused the whole epidemic. It was because they had incentive to prescribe it.
Yeah.
And that's with all kinds of drugs, not just opiates, but that's what began a huge portion.
They do that with everything. Well, it's kind of the same thing with COVID. They're asking hospitals to, not asking them, they're kind of telling them it's a good idea if you mark them as COVID deaths, because then you're going to get a certain amount of money extra from having COVID, because it costs more to take care of a COVID patient. So if you put that on the books for the next year, you'll get more money, because we had to pay this much, to take care of these people. So we have,
There's no doubt that the numbers are being juked. Like, it's proven.
Yeah, well, or I don't know, because like
the false positives and stuff like that.
I keep hearing people like go get a test, and then they don't take the test because it takes too long or something like that. And then they get a call or a letter later that says they were tested positive. And I don't know if that's true, but like, it's coming from people from work that I know. So
I've heard that as well.
Yeah.
And I've also heard, I saw something now, take everything you see on the internet with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But I did see something where a nurse had said they entered a test without having swabbed the subject. They just entered a test that was in the packet, and it came back as positive.
Just a clean test, and it came back as positive.
So that either shows a fault in the
testing,
or that the samples are tampered with.
Yeah, which,
I would say the former being the tests are just inaccurate.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking they're just making them positive. Like, they're just saying they're positive, even if they are or not.
That could be too.
Who knows? I don't know. Because that's with, like, anything, though. Because, I mean, you could die from a brain aneurysm and also have colon cancer. You know what I mean? So
For sure.
I don't know, but they probably determine that.
And I don't
determining what type of death it was, but
yeah.
You know,
and I don't deny that COVID has its place in many deaths that have happened. Like it's definitely added to it. I don't know that anybody is necessarily, and I don't know the numbers at all, but I don't know if anybody has necessarily died just of COVID.
I don't know, because isn't it?
I'm sure there have been like older people.
Things? It's all respiratory stuff, right? So like you'll get an infection in your lungs, I'm assuming.
And you can, if that's added with something like pneumonia, it definitely
it's kind of like
doubles the.
I'm not saying it's like AIDS, but it's kind of like that where
it lessens your immune system.
Yeah, and it makes you weaker, so you get other things, right? Isn't that
kind
of like
that seems to be what.
That's what it sounds like to me. I'm not sure if like that's just because that is what the disease is. It just breaks you down and then you die.
It seems like 90% of the deaths that keep happening, it always says died of COVID complications, not died of COVID.
Yeah. Well, Well, it's like dying of flu complications. Right. I don't think you actually die of flu. You usually die of dehydration.
The flu is what lessens your immunity. And then you get
usually
infections.
I think it's dehydration
sort.
that usually kills people with the flu, doesn't it?
Definitely was back in the day.
Yeah,
when you
just poop yourself to death.
Basically. Have you seen the bit about it was Dave Chappelle? He talks about he's basically talking about like the old days versus new days. He goes back in the day, you'd die of diarrhea. Like there was no way if you had diarrhea, you're saying goodbye to your friends. Nowadays, if your friends are like, "Oh, I can't go out, I've got diarrhea," and you're like, "Eat a banana. Let's go get drunk."
Yeah, I know, right? It's so true, though. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm sure it's things like that, where it's like, they're dying of a respiratory infection or diarrhea or, or dehydration.
Number of things.
Or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, there's just still so much unknown. Even now, we've been dealing with this for almost 6 months now.
I think they said that Dr. Drew, he's...
Is this with Two Bears?
Yeah, well, he's on his own Dr. Drew After Dark on Your Mom's House YouTube page or whatever. But anyways, he was saying that they actually have a couple of vaccines or some types of like ways to like fight it, basically. And he's like, they're pretty soundproof for the most part, or what they've known. Because he's like, you have to do these tests like 1,000 times. Like, you can't just do it a couple times, and if it works out, then like give it to everybody. Because you don't know the side effects or like what it could happen afterwards or whatever, or if you're eating it with something else, or you know what I mean.
Well,
like,
you have to test it with so many different people. Like,
you have to do.
How does this react with somebody who has this, or somebody who has asthma, or somebody who has?
Takes so long. Right. It's like you could find a vaccine, but you have to test it and see if it's okay for people and stuff.
Yeah, you can't just test all regular. Yeah,
that's why it's taking a while. But he said most of them, the ones that they have or whatever they're doing, seem to be pretty good. And he's like, I would take them. He's like, as a doctor, knowing what they are, he's like, I would take them.
I know.
But, like, that doesn't mean he's the know-all. He doesn't know everything about it. But he's talking to other doctors that are saying,
I heard Oxford University was coming out with a pretty.
Yeah, I think there was that one, and then he said some other.
There was another one too.
Yeah, I think Oxford was. Yeah.
Do you see Brendan Schaub and Callan had it after going out the one time?
Which is funny because Brendan and Brian were talking about how it wasn't kind of real, like talking shit about it basically, and then 2 days later they get it. So it's
and Brendan freaked out more than Callan, I think.
Really? I didn't see I just saw Brian's like, "Hey, I got COVID."
Yeah, like, which Brian's of that age, but he's pretty fit. He's pretty.
They said he was sicker than anybody else though that had gotten
it.
Really?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I just know Brendan Schaub was like taking extra precautions.
Yeah, he was like, which I would be safe because
for sure.
You don't know. I don't know, man. It's just. I don't know, if I got it, I'd probably try to stay away from everybody. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Like, I don't want to infect everybody.
Because what if I give it to my, like, dad or whatever, and then he gives it to my grandma? Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, you never know. And, like, you might accidentally give it to somebody's grandma and then kill them, and then you would be responsible. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You wouldn't maybe know or whatever, but, like, just to prevent it would be, I don't know.
I know.
That's why washing your hands, and I'm sorry, wearing a mask does,
It's definitely going to, lessen.
Even if you feel silly, whatever, just try it. Like, if it's for the next couple months or whatever, just to see if it, you know what I mean?
I'm sure we'll see a steady decline.
I hope so. Or more immunity to it, hopefully.
Right.
We'll see, though.
Yeah, I know a friend of mine's dad died of...
Yeah, well, there's a place here, one of the nursing homes.
Yeah,
it's had like
Canyon
15.
Creek.
Yeah. Has like 15 deaths already, and it's like been in like I think it's 3 weeks that they've started. Yeah,
That's been like the main focus of.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like obviously it's killing people.
Sure.
But like
Yeah, no. One of my friends' dad died of.
Yeah.
And he was only like 50 something, maybe
Really? Well,
60.
Anna was telling me about a girl she knows who's like 22, 21, 22, somewhere around there, and she's got it, and she's fighting. They don't know if she has COVID, but she has a really bad, like, dry cough, like, you know what I mean, all the symptoms, basically. She's getting tested right now, but she's in the hospital, you know what I mean?
Really?
Like, in the hospital, like, with tubes and stuff. Like,
Damn.
yeah, so she's like, you guys need to be aware, and, like, you know, she's like, I used to make fun of it, but be careful.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do is just work on your immune system. Like, that's what Joe keeps saying too.
Yeah,
is
lot
like
of
nobody's
vitamin
talking
C,
about that.
A lot of vitamin D, vitamin C.
I've got vitamin D sitting right on the counter.
Did you hear that somebody was making fun of him? He's like, you're the only person that can get vitamin D sold out in stores.
That was Bill Burr.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, and then some guy had to go on his podcast. He goes, I was going to get some vitamin D, and then some guy had to go on his podcast and talk all about it, and now it's off the shelves.
Could you imagine that? Like, having that much...
influence?
Yeah, to, like, be able to just be like, hey, don't... Or go buy this, and everybody's like, okay.
Yeah. That's
and it's so funny, too, because, like, I was on the Joe Rogan kick, I mean, when I lived in Nashville, so, like, 6-7 years ago, even. You know what I mean? And, like... Now seeing everybody talk about him, it's kind of funny. It's like, I just started watching Joe Rogan.
I'm just as guilty as anybody.
I know, but he does such a good job because he has both sides. He doesn't seem to pick favorites. You know what I mean?
He's very open. He's open-minded.
But he does pick his friends a lot to come on the show, and that's what I like though, because he has a good time talking to them.
Kind of like me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any experts to bring on the show yet. I'm sure maybe maybe I'll get down the line and.
Well, at first, I mean, how many episodes did he have where it was just him and Red Band, like, you know what I mean, and Joey Diaz?
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about putting hot sauce on something. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, as long as it's having fun and whatnot, you know, it's good. It's cool that he has episodes that it's, you know, just entertainment, him and his friends just bullshitting.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them are, you know, he'll have experts on where they can discuss real topics.
Or, like, you'll have to watch somebody you weren't willing to, like, even, like, listen to at first, and then you, like, hear him talk or whatever. You know, like Cameron Haynes or whatever. It's like, I wasn't into running or working out really much before I heard him, like, talk and stuff like that, and then I found out that there's 200-mile runs and stuff like that, and like, that's insane. You know what I mean? Like, and then you start to pique your interest in things that you thought you wouldn't be cool with, or, you know, like bow hunting, or like, or you know, there was one guy who was talking about sleep on there a couple years ago. There was one recently, but he had talked to somebody else about sleep, and I was blown away by, like, how important sleep is. You know what I mean? And then you start being aware of stuff too. It's kind of cool. I've
definitely got introduced to quite a few different people through that show, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, or Eric Weinstein,
Graham Hancock. Have you ever listened to any of his stuff? Graham Hancock in West. I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah,
Anthony West. Anyways, they talk a lot about, like, how there might have been civilizations before the humans right now, you know, like civilizations before. Not necessarily like aliens coming and being gods to us, but like humans have been around, you know, like Atlantis was like a civilization that peaked and then collapsed or whatever, and I think that kind of stuff. You know, I mean, there's a guy, Robert Schoch, I don't know if you've listened to him, he talks about...
Sounds familiar.
He's, I think, a geologist, something like that, but he talks about how, like, the Sphinx is, like,
older than it
actually is because of the rain. What do you call that? Erosion on the from the rainfall and stuff like that. And he's like, it hasn't happened
based on when the rain falls every
10,000 years. It was like the Sahara hasn't had rain for 10,000 years, so it's like it had to have been made before that because it wouldn't have erosion unless it was built before it was a desert. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. So it's kind of interesting.
That's crazy.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, you get introduced to a lot of different people that you wouldn't normally see anywhere else.
Yeah.
So, and I did want to make that point too, that for so long there was, and I'm sure you remember, me poking fun at your obsession with Joe Rogan,
I know.
and now I'm that person.
I know, it's funny too. It just kind of makes me happy on the inside.
Oh,
though,
for sure.
No, like, and but like, you know, when we'd watch
fights,
UFC and you'd be like, "There's Joe Rogan," and I'm
there's
like,
your boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
And now,
yeah.
I'm the one who,
It's so funny too, because he's just like, I don't know, he's just a little dude. You know, he's fit and everything, but he's just a little guy. He wasn't very popular for a long time. He just kept doing his own thing, and that's what I think I like him so much, is because he just decided to do what he wanted when he wanted. He did Fear Factor for money and stuff like that, but he generally was like, I'm gonna, you know, do my own thing, and you know, it doesn't matter if I'm famous or not, you know.
And even still, he doesn't act like a famous person.
No.
He doesn't come across as like...
His friends make fun of him because all he wears is jeans and a t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff. Like, yeah.
He's just a normal guy who has...
Do you know why he does that, though?
Why?
Because so he can fight people. Like, so if he gets into a fight, he can, like, fight. Like, you know what I mean?
I did hear that.
It's so ridiculous.
Because I don't remember who said it.
Who thinks like that? Like, everybody is a threat. Like, I mean, which... At some degree, yes, I guess. Like, you know, somebody could always be a threat, but it's like...
That's so funny.
It's so funny. Like, he won't wear, you know, like, sandals or whatever, because you have to have tennis shoes so you can kick somebody in the face, basically. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. It's just funny.
So, somebody brought that up, saying they went on a hike with him, and he was wearing something... Or he commented on the other guy's outfit.
Well, he jokes with if they wear ties. He's like, somebody should just kill you.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Why would you wear ties? Like... It's a nice event.
Oh, that's where I heard it, and I'm sure you heard it in the same spot. Was Two Bears?
Yeah,
they were talking about it on Two Bears.
Probably, yeah.
Talking about how
recently reheard that because he talks about it too, though. Yeah,
a tie is it could just be used against you as choke you out.
I know, but it's like why would you wear that to this event? Well, it's a black tie, flat, blue jeans ball or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like why wouldn't I? I don't know. It's just kind of funny.
I like how Joe doesn't really do. He just does what, like you said, whatever he wants. He doesn't go on shows. He just does his own show. He doesn't really go on other people's shows because he doesn't feel like he has to.
Tosh doesn't do anything like that. He never has interviews or anything.
Promotions or anything.
No, and I actually like him for that.
Yeah.
I mean, he may be, a little pushy or like too offensive sometimes. I don't care. But
that's comedy.
Yeah, some people. Yeah, but like to me, I think it's cool that he's just like, no, fuck you. I'm gonna do my shows, and if you want to come, you'll come, and if not, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't need to like go on Jay Leno or whatever, Jimmy Kimmel or whatever, and promote it. Some people feel differently, and that's fine too.
Well, and it's funny too because Joe kind of broke the mold in saying that I don't have to do this, and look how famous I am.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just all about word of mouth.
Well, it's even like Joey Diaz and them, like they don't work Sundays or whatever. Like even Joe Rogan talks about that. It's like don't work the days you don't want to work, and he's like, people told me I had to work Sundays for comedy because it's a good day or whatever. He's like, no, I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
It's like I can make money on other days. It's like it's true though. It's like it's with anything. I mean, you should stand up for yourself, but also at the same time, you have to kind of follow, with work and stuff like that, because most people don't get the choices.
Well, in the end,
I mean, you can strive to be famous or whatever, but some people don't want to be famous, don't want to be on a podcast. You know what I mean? They just want to work and stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just fight your little battles, I guess. Is what I'm saying.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Joe Rogan thing that kicked off my kick for just all podcasts. Like then it just like the avalanche started falling.
I know.
And then now here we are doing that.
Yeah, exactly. I think it started with that one, and then I started watching like the Church of What's Happening Now. It's Joey Diaz's.
Oh yeah.
And then I was watching The Fighter and the Kid. You know what I mean? And it just eventually progressed to like
Yeah, I've got about 8 of them that I run through, and like even now, there was a stretch I was watching like every single one Joe would put out.
Yeah.
And now I just kind of watch every few of them and like maybe get an hour in, and if it's worth finishing, I'll finish it. If it's not,
sometimes I try to, if it's like the Fight Companions or whatever, I try to watch all of it.
Those are
but
fun.
It takes me a couple of listens because I listen for about an hour because I don't listen to them at work. I just if I'm walking my dog, I'll listen to it. So that's about an hour. Sometimes if I'm at home, I'll listen to it.
That's when I is at work.
Yeah, me and Anna like to drive, take drives and stuff like that, and we'll listen to like Two Bears, One Cave.
Oh, dude, that's the funniest podcast there is.
There's nothing better than listening to those two giggle about something stupid.
I know,
like Kool-Aid, like,
and that blew up big.
I know. Apparently,
it's
like trending and stuff now on Twitter. And,
it's funny. It's a funny thing when Tom starts just like dying laughing.
Yeah,
because Bert dies laughing at just about anything.
He laughs at literally everything.
I know.
Like, yeah.
He'll laugh at stories that he's going to tell.
I know.
Like he'll be.
It bugs me with other people when they do that. Like, it's just tell the fucking story. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
because you ran the story through your head, and
it's not that funny. Like, and usually when people laugh through the story, it's not funny.
It makes it less funny.
Yeah.
It's almost like overhyping it, and then you're.
But when he does it, it's like it's so silly that it makes me giggle, and it's like I'm not laughing at the story; I'm laughing at him laughing. Yeah. But there's people that like that, and, that are just infectious when they laugh.
For sure.
You can't help but like laugh with them, kind of thing.
Right.
That's Bert.
Yeah, I know. Let's switch gears into sports, because...
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I could literally talk about Joe Rogan all day.
I was gonna...
Dude, really?
I know! I was gonna turn it off. Okay. Anyway. Sports, yeah. We're starting to get into this point when sports are starting to roll back in.
Baseball started.
2
nights ago.
Basketball's on the horizon. That's next weekend.
Yeah.
And then hockey as well.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, did you see the Kraken?
I did.
The logo sucks, but the jerseys are cool.
See, I haven't seen the jerseys.
Okay, they're the green, I think they're like green, gray, black, and red, something like that. Like, they're pretty cool looking. I didn't mind them. They're the same colors as their, like, logos.
They always have to have green.
Yeah, I know. It's actually pretty cool looking.
See, I didn't mind the logo. I thought the logo was pretty cool.
It reminds me of the Scarlet's S. And
yeah.
It's just kind of lame, I guess. They could have done such a cool Kraken, like an actual Kraken.
See, and I think they will have something else.
Eventually.
With, like, a secondary
That's
logo.
fair.
But I like how it comes up and you can see the little tentacle bumps.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a great name.
I think so, too. They were making fun of it on PTI.
Really?
Yeah, but those are two old farts that are just, like, they don't like the name the Raptors either. So I was like, okay, well, whatever, dude. Like,
I mean...
just different generations, I guess. What do you want them to name them? The Cubs? Or,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
like,
it's the perfect blend of, Well,
you obviously can't do... like races, or I'm not trying to be like like even like the Trojans,
tribes,
even Trojans and stuff, I think is kind of not allowed anymore. And sure. I think it should be something like animal like, or like how it's like the Phoenix Mercury or whatever, where it's just like or the Sparks or whatever, where it's not like.
Well, and it's a tough name too, like the that's
a hockey team. I think it's sweet.
There's no team that
I'm sorry,
uses that
I'm
as
a Nashville Preds fan, and I think the Predators is a bad name. You know what I mean? Like,
really,
it's a cool
I don't
name,
mind
but But do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather have the Kraken.
It's cool because
Knights is the coolest thing they've done in a while.
That is cool too. Yeah, it's by the ocean, so it makes sense for that.
Well, and then they were making fun of it on PTI because they're like, the Kraken's supposed to be from like Sweden and Finland or something like that, and we're like, dude. They're like, I don't think Seattle's anywhere near that. I'm like, okay. Like, no.
Just nitpicking it at this point. I mean, it's brilliant for marketing.
There's no, like, why are the Lakers called the Lakers? It's because they're from Minneapolis,
yeah.
not from LA.
It makes no sense.
You know what I mean? Like, there's, like, a couple man-made lakes, I think, near LA, but not, like, there's the ocean. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So if we're going to nitpick names, then why, yeah.
Or, like, the Dallas Stars. Like, they weren't originally... It makes more sense being in Dallas, but...
Yeah. But what were they before?
The North Stars from Minneapolis.
That's right, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a great name. I should check out the jerseys. I didn't see those.
I like them, yeah. I thought they were pretty cool. Other name change. Redskins.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Football team. I get it. Like, it's a terrible name, but, like, I get that they're trying to transition to another one, so they have to just do something for the time being.
Yeah, and I totally get them Xing out.
But it sounds like an MLS team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Washington football team. Like, it sounds like a soccer team.
Right.
But which is fine. They'll change it after next year. But the jerseys are sweet. Did you see them?
Did
they don't have the logos on the helmets anymore. It's the numbers.
Yeah.
So they're in. Yeah, and they just have the. I think it just says Washington on the front now. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they just look like the same. But I thought the numbers on the helmets were cool.
More than anything, I can understand them not, releasing a name and all that yet. Not because. They don't know what they want, but more than anything because
it's going to be the Red Wolves, they most likely think, and that's patent pending because somebody has the rights to the patent. Yeah. So they're trying to get it from them. I think
that was brilliant.
Why they did this
when they started talking about
But like, dude, there's so many other names you could name. I don't know, like.
Oh, there's
too bad you couldn't do like the Washington Generals again, or the Senators or something like that. Because the Senators were the the baseball team.
Isn't that the cursed name though?
I think that's what the Nationals used to. Well,
there's one name that like
maybe
a lot of people tried, and it's like the most cursed.
But do you know
name.
what I'm saying? Like they could have done so many different like. Somebody said Minutemen, but then they were like, well, then that's what the Patriots should be. It should be the Washington Patriots and then the Boston Minutemen or whatever, New England Minutemen. But I was like, I don't know.
They're so stuck on the colors and stuff. They don't want to change that.
Well, and then what about like the red arrows? So you could keep
that could have been cool.
Yeah, you could keep the arrow logo
because they have that old Arrowhead logo that they put on their head.
And then somebody else was saying, well, like what about the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Like is that a Well, I'm saying, like, is that
offensive?
Yeah, and it's like, I mean,
probably will be at one day.
I mean, I'm not trying to, and that's fine. I think teams should be change their names eventually. Like even the Oakland Athletics, I think, is a little outdated. Like you know what I mean? That's my favorite team. So like it's like I wouldn't care if they changed the name. Like I would be like, that's their fucking name. Like you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm gonna call them.
Right.
It's like I would buy a New Jersey. I wouldn't care.
The worst thing is
it was like even if they changed their names to the Pelicans, I would still,
The worst thing is the people who get tattoos and stuff like that, and
yeah, but then that's like a nostalgia thing, like with the old D logo.
It's a throwback.
Yeah, you're like, I got this before their new logo, and it wouldn't. Nobody would. It's not a big deal.
It's still a part of your life that you had,
and you still liked that team when they were that name before. It's not like they're not. They didn't exist. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's silly to me for people to get upset over like a player changing their jersey number or a team changing their name. It's just a name. Still the same team. You know, I don't know.
I just looked up today the NHL format, and
I forgot they're switching stuff.
Yeah, well, they are doing the 7-game series still through the playoffs. Yeah.
Are they gonna play in games, or are they just starting the playoffs?
They're basically just starting the playoffs. So there's qualifying games.
Okay.
There's 2 hubs. One is in the East and one in the West. Yeah. It's Edmonton and Toronto.
Okay, I knew they were doing Canada.
And so the top 4 teams are going to play each other for seeding.
Okay.
It's basically to like try and if they can advance in the seedings and stuff like that. Just basically the top 4 teams on each side are in no matter what. Okay. They're just going to play each other to like
just to practice, basically.
Yeah, and it could change the seating for them.
Okay.
And then the rest of them, I can't remember how many. They're playing each other to round it out in the end for the last 4 spots, and I can't remember how many are in it.
I'm just excited. I don't even care.
Yeah, like, no, it's gonna be great.
Baseball switched a few things. I can't remember exactly everything, but there was one where it was. During the extra innings, they're gonna have a guy start on second base. So like,
really
just make it go faster.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know what I mean, or it'll end it quicker. So I think that's what
after 9.
Yeah, I think so. After 9, there's a guy that starts at second.
Interesting.
I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of like hockey, drop into 3 players. In overtime, so more goals.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Then you won't have 22 inning games,
which are some of the best and worst games because like they're fun to be like. Oh, I stayed up till 4 in the morning to watch my team win, but it's also like I stayed up until 4 in the morning just to watch like one game out of 100.
And you're watching all these strikeouts and all these foul balls.
And just nonsense. Yeah, well, yeah. I love baseball, but that is one of the problems. It is such a slow-paced game.
Well, it's going to be nice now that they're doing the reduced season. I think they should reduce the number of games no matter what.
I think it should be like how the Mustangs are. It's like I think they play like 60-something games, 68 or something like that.
That's plenty.
That's enough, yeah.
Just increase your ticket prices.
I get why they play so many games because it's like it's more of an average game. Like baseball's always been about like averaging,
right?
Like, you know, like your base hit average, you know, like that kind of stuff. So, like, I get why they want to play, like, so many games, because then the best teams most likely will win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, that's what's fun about football is, like, a team that's 2-9 beats a team that's 9-2. Like,
I think they need to expand their playoffs, too. I think
so, too.
Because
I hate the wild card game.
Yeah.
They should be 3 games at least. Just whoever wins the best of 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or best of 3. Like,
I think there's enough teams. Make it 8.
Yeah.
8 in each conference. Why not? Because more people nobody wants to watch 180 some games and then their team never makes,
or like the A's, I don't remember what years it was, but we lost like 3 wild card games in a row.
Yeah.
So it's like we made it to the playoffs and we we're never that great, but we're always like decent enough to make the playoffs, and then we lose that first game, and then we're just done.
Well, meaning
so it's like it's just like it's not. I don't know.
By that standard too, they would have been in the playoffs because they were that close. So they would have, if in an 8 playoffs, an 8
they would have
team
made
playoff
it,
system.
I would at least got to watch them play 3 times or 2 times or whatever.
And it's like, oh yeah, my team made the playoffs.
Yeah,
like you're more invested.
Yeah, even if it is only 3-game series, because they do that in World Series in college baseball.
Right.
It's just 3-game series, which is fine.
And who wants to be a fan of a team who's? I mean, it goes multiple ways. You don't want to be a fan of a team that never makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
And because it's always the same, usually there's just like 4 teams that are pretty frequently in there.
Consistently good, yeah.
And then, you have, it's not good for marketing either.
No.
If you have teams that never make the playoffs.
Well, that's kind of why I think, like basketball did sports do the reverse thing where if the losing team gets the number 1 pick or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that's to help even it out.
And same with players, though. Players don't want to play for teams that's why the Yankees get all these players and the Red Sox
or
and stuff. Because those are winning franchises. People want to play for winning franchises.
There's certain places where they're never good just because nobody wants to go there and play there. Like,
so they spend more money.
Live there, yeah. Like how Kansas City's kind of changed now, but before or whatever. Or I'm trying to think of an NBA team that nobody wants to go to.
Sacramento,
Charlotte. Like
Charlotte.
You know what I mean? Like where it's just not. I mean, you could be a good team, but nobody. Yeah, Sacramento. There's not. I mean, there's stuff to do there, but the team's not very well promoted, I guess. Which is funny because Sacramento back in the early 2000s was like a big deal for the Kings. Like they were they were also really good though too. I mean,
teams like that seem to have they're not always consistently good, but I mean the Bucks are good now. They've had good teams in the past too.
Yeah,
but they had a long stretch where they were nothing.
The Bulls, they were never like a well-known team until Michael Jordan.
I just started watching The Last Dance.
Yeah, he talks about that because they had a couple of good years. Every once in a while with Jerry Sloan and stuff like that. But like, he was the one that made them like the Lakers and like the what I mean, because he won them 6 championships. So it got a lot of people into them, and that's why they are still popular.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And they're just having a rough time now.
20 years? Jesus.
Yeah. And
no, it's fine. We're actually getting a lot better this year.
It's the same with the Nuggets. It's like we had a rough we've had a lot of rough years.
Yeah.
And then we had that nice little patch with Carmelo.
Yeah.
Then we were off again, and now...
Yeah. Well, how many times did you make it to the Western Conference Finals? Twice?
I think only twice ever.
Yeah. And it was with...
Carmelo?
Yeah. Well, didn't they make it to the finals one year? Like
Not
back
recently.
in the 70s?
Oh.
I don't remember. I think it's been
They might have been in the finals
Maybe
once.
It was ABA or whatever. Yeah. But anyways,
I don't think they were, though. I don't think they've ever made it to the championship.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I should know.
But Melo is the reason why most people like the Nuggets.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and Iverson.
Well, and also, what's his name?
Chauncey.
Yeah. Well, and then you still had Kenneth Faried. Like, you know what I mean? That team was
We've had
good.
players, yeah.
That was a really good team during that
With
era.
Gallinari and...
Mm-hmm.
But now, this is probably the best Nuggets team we've had.
Oh, now? Yeah, with
ever.
Jokic.
Oh, yeah. Did you see they did that tall ball thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was just an exhibition game. Because obviously the main games start on next Thursday. But they did a full tall lineup. So it was Jokic playing point.
Okay.
And then Jeremy Grant, Paul Millsap, Mason Plumlee, and then Bol playing center.
Oh, no.
And he killed it.
Really?
And they did really good with that tall ball situation. So they're thinking about like implementing that lineup certain times.
Imagine that? Well, and if like is it Bol or
Bol?
Bol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he becomes like a 3-point shooter, like all of those.
He made like 3 of them.
And like Millsap, I mean, he's a decent 3-point shooter. Jokic is a good 3-point shooter. You know what I mean? Like most of them are like Jeremy Grant. I think he's
all right.
Yeah.
They're pretty versatile.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they all.
Plumlee's like the only one that's not a 3-point shooter in that lineup.
Just rebound it, dude. Yeah. And like, I mean, he'd be playing the power forwards position then.
Probably.
Dude, so what is he like 6'11"? Because Bol is what 7 foot.
Bol's 7'2".
Yeah, I was gonna say he's over 7 foot.
He's 7'2".
So he's playing center.
Yeah.
Because Plumlee, it's Miles, right?
Mason.
They're
two of them. There's 2 of them.
They're both tall though.
Yeah, I think Plumlee probably is playing point, or I mean
power forward.
No, small forward.
Okay.
Because Millsap would play the power forward.
See, I'd put Millsap small forward. Because then you have Grant.
Well, and imagine this. Imagine subbing out Millsap for Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah. Well, you could even switch Grant with Millsap. Because Millsap could probably play a 2. I mean, he would not be great on defense, but yeah, you want Grant.
I just didn't have Michael Porter Jr. in there.
Yeah.
Just more younger and.
I wonder how he's going to do this year. I wonder if they're even going to be in the rotation. Cause, okay, who did they get rid of? They got rid of Brogdon? No. I'm sorry. Who did they get rid of?
Recently?
Was it Gary Harris? I
No,
thought one
he's
of
still
their
there.
shooting guards left.
Harris is still there.
What's the other one?
Oh, Beasley.
Was it Beasley? I thought that was... What's the other one that was playing in front of... I can see his face.
They had Hernan Gomez, Beasley, and somebody else left.
He played like point guard and shooting guard.
I think it was Beasley.
No, maybe.
Beasley was the best guy we
It's
lost.
not him, but like...
Because we have Gary Harris, Murray, who we signed to an extent. Like Murray's
Jamal, yeah.
And then we had what's his name?
He might have left last year then.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, Isaiah?
No. He's a shooting guard.
We'll have to look it up later.
Yeah, no, I can't think of it.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank as well.
Yeah, no, you're good. I keep thinking of Malcolm Brogdon, but that's
Because he was with
Indiana. And
Yeah.
then he went to the Bucks, right?
other way.
He was
with the Bucks and went to Indiana.
Yeah.
What's your thought? Like, how do you feel about the format for NBA, where it's a one and done?
What do you mean? So that they...
I think, as far as I understand it, they're doing 8 games to round out the playoffs to figure out who. Mostly for those final seeding spots.
Yeah.
And then once the playoffs start, it's the best 16 teams, West or East.
1 game elimination. I just don't think that's... I don't know.
That's from what I understand.
I would love like 3-game series.
I think so too,
like,
but
because they're gonna are they gonna have 20 teams playing in the playoffs? How many teams?
it's sick. There's 22 teams total right now,
They're
and
putting 16 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
8 and 8 on each side, right?
no, it's there's no sides. It's the best of everyone.
So like
so there'll be more West teams than East.
So who is the number 1 seed? It's not the Lakers.
It's probably the Bucks.
So the Bucks would be playing Orlando or whoever.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, whoever's the 20th. Or
That's from what I understand it. I'm sure we'll get a better explanation.
Yeah, that's okay. So I just didn't realize they were only doing 1-game elimination.
Yeah,
like that. I don't know.
As
that changes
it's basically
a
a March Madness style.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd be like 7-game series because
I was hoping that too, and I might be wrong. Maybe they will do it that way, but
or even 5 games because then it might be a little bit longer. But yeah, I don't know.
Because
the finals have to be 7 games. Like you couldn't just have 1 basketball game.
I know. No matter what, there's going to be an asterisk on the
marketing.
season.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
I don't think... Yeah.
I think they're just trying to wrap it up so they can move on to next year.
I think so, too. But they're also trying to make a little bit of extra cash because they got screwed. Not screwed, but, like, they got screwed. Like, you know
Although,
what I mean?
I think it could be exciting to see a 1-game elimination game.
I think so, too.
Because, I mean, especially... We know how exciting March Madness is.
Who's Kimba playing for? Boston, right? No.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Kimba Walker?
Yeah. Well, do you remember him in the... Oh, you probably weren't... When he was playing for UConn?
Yeah.
Kimba in the Cardiac Cats? Do you remember that? When he pulled that step-back jumper to shoot to win the game?
That was him?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was the one that he's playing against the big dude from Gonzaga, I think.
Okay.
He just steps back and the guy, like, falls. And he shoots...
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
This was, like, when I was, like, around in high school, maybe right out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. I don't remember when he graduated, so...
See, and that's just it, though. It's like... I know, like, just speaking purely as a Nuggets fan, the Nuggets have beaten the Lakers and the Bucks and all these teams on a regular season... every team on a regular season games. Do I think they could necessarily beat the Bucks on a series? Probably not. But in a 1-game elimination...
I think they could beat the Lakers in a series, just because the Lakers...
I think they could, too.
The Lakers don't have much on the bench, I feel like. They do and they don't.
It's just it's just that thing of, like...
JR fucks up again and screws up.
Is he on the Lakers now?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Because Avery Bradley didn't go. So
they picked him up?
JR Smith,
wow.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
I can't wait till he screws up again. Or I hope he redeems himself. Like he wins LeBron the trophy. Like you know what I mean? Like shoots.
I don't want that.
No,
I don't want to see the Lakers win.
I'd rather Jr. Poor guy.
Who do you have winning it? Bias aside. Actually, I can't do it. Like I gotta ask you that. I can't answer that question because I'm gonna say the Nuggets just because I think they can.
They can. I don't know. Anybody can this year. I'm thinking. Yeah. I still think the Lakers have a huge chance just because of LeBron. The Bucks.
I was gonna say if I didn't say Denver, I'd say.
I'm trying to think of who else was like playing really well towards the end of the season.
The Grizzlies were popping.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be hard now because of all this break.
That's what I'm saying. So like I'm trying.
Somebody else could just emerge out of nowhere.
I know, like, like the Sixers could come back and start playing well again. You know how they were last year.
A lot of it's just gonna depend on how people have been preparing and. And just who comes out hot.
I haven't heard anything from anybody being like, oh, he's out of shape. Like, he came back, 20 pounds overweight or anything like that.
I'm almost going to be bugged if the Nuggets win because they'll always have a black, I mean, I'll still... Oh, hell yeah, I'm still going to buy all the merch, but it's just
it's like when was it, the 94 season for baseball? It was really short, and everybody's like, well, that doesn't count. It's like, no, it still counts. They still won, you know what I mean? You still had to win the games to win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just happy it's starting again.
Me too.
I don't know. I guess I never realized how much I rely on sports just to talk to people about and stuff like that.
And just to fill some time in certain days,
I know. Which it also has made me realize they're not that important either. Like you can live your life.
It's pure entertainment.
Yeah, it is. But it's they're fun to. They're so enjoyable. Like there's so many things you can do with sports from fantasy to going to them to watching them with friends and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's nice. I like sports so much though, but I also played sports as a kid, so that helps a lot too.
God, what else? Football. They approved all the NFLPA and all that stuff. They've approved everything to.
Okay, so they're.
It sounds like there's no preseason.
I thought they were going to do 2, but they're not.
I thought it sounded like they were going to do 2, then it sounded like they were going to do 1, and now it's...
So it's just going to start 17?
I think it's none, which sucks because that's going to be hard to determine, your final couple players.
That sucks for the Broncos, too, because I feel like Drew Lock needs more not more practice, but, I feel like it would benefit him greatly, especially with, Jerry Jeudy.
Right.
Having that 4 weeks.
Well, they're going to do all the training camp and all that stuff. And
yeah, but still, it's...
Yeah, I know. It's not like
game time or game.
But I guess everyone's still on that same playing field.
Yes, true.
So they don't all get that same practice.
Or there's teams like the Ravens where they've been playing together for the last couple of years, most of them. So they're going to be a lot better than I'm assuming than Tampa Bay where they just got their quarterback.
Or how about I was going to say how about teams that
you know what I mean where you have to just Tom Brady's going to be probably fine. Might start out rough, but you know what I mean. Or
who's a rookie quarterback that's starting this year? Is there any?
Dwayne Haskins. I mean, he's not a rookie, but think of how much.
Who is the top quarterback taking this year? Oh, Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Or
where's he even played for? I don't even remember. Now.
Chargers.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's right.
But they're saying Tyrod Taylor's going to start anyway.
Well, think of Phillip Rivers though.
A new team. Yeah. There's a lot of new quarterbacks.
Where
in
did
places.
Jacoby go? Is he still with?
He's still with.
That makes me mad. He didn't do great at the
end
of the season.
He should have been in New England.
I know, yeah. Well, not when you can get Cam for minimum.
I know. Well, that'll be an interesting thing to see because I don't know that Cam will gel with Belichick. I think their personalities are way different.
Yeah, I think he'll do fine because he did fine with Randy Moss. Belichick,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's not the quarterback.
No, but they have the same kind of, not mentality, but I don't know.
It's just hard. It's different when it's your quarterback.
Deal with people,
especially when you've been working with Tom Brady for so long.
Yeah.
And Tom was like a coach on the field type of guy.
Yeah.
A no nonsense get off your ass, let's do this.
Yeah, and that's not so much Cam. But
it'll just be interesting to see. It's just a whole new level of.
I think Cam's
ball there now.
I think Cam's serious, and he thinks that he has a lot of doubters to.
He's got a lot to prove.
Yeah. To disprove and stuff. So I'm excited for him.
I'm excited for fantasy football.
I know. Speaking of that, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Started? Okay.
Yeah, I'm so ready.
Not to do this on air, but open up the pay $40 a week for it or something like that. $30. Yeah, I know you were.
Bigger pot.
Yeah, that way so third place can get their money back, and then the first place can win a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to win the championship again.
Dude, I was so bummed about the NBA stuff because
we should do something about that. We should Like all
do like a bracket.
If they're all one eliminated teams,
We could do like a March Madness bracket, but with that'd be cool.
And I'll message everybody that was on it before.
We'll have to figure out how the system. No, you're good. We'll have to figure out how the system actually is, and then figure something out.
Yeah, or like each pick a team, and if you like see how far your team goes.
Or yeah, we could get 16 people and then draw
out of the hat. And whoever you can pick your team.
You could even just do like a $5 thing for
Yeah.
that. We could do a couple things. Yeah, we could do like a $5 thing for that, and then
for free. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like just do a free bracket, and whoever wins.
Yeah, that'd be fun too.
Yeah.
Just bragging rights.
Yeah, I still have the trophy though for football, so I'll have to give it to whoever wins.
I'm just glad it sounds like we're gonna have a full football season.
Yeah,
and I don't remember if they're gonna implement the 17th game this year. Or is it because they got approved for a 17 game season, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then they're also adding another team to the playoffs. Now I think this year is
I think it doesn't happen until next year.
I think this year the added playoff team happens.
Okay.
So there'll be 7 teams in the playoffs. One gets the bye week. And then
that's right, yeah.
And then next year they're doing the 17
Dude, there's so
games.
much change going on. That'll be interesting.
So, and then of course we got UFC, which it hasn't stopped.
I know. Those fights were so good. The ones
They were.
Yeah.
The other night.
Yeah.
You didn't miss much with the Masvidal one. It was fun, and it went the full.
Yeah, I just kind of figured he'd win, so I was just like, all right.
Usman.
Yeah.
It was.
Masvidal is good.
Fairly.
Usman is just, I think, so technical compared to everybody else.
I think Masvidal at least showed me a lot.
Well, also that was only 7 days he was given a notice,
right?
So it's kind of.
Masvidal is a tough guy, and he's got
he
a
fought people
punch.
in people's backyards, man. Like that says a lot about somebody if they're willing to fight people in somebody else's backyard.
I'm excited.
Like, think about that. Like
I'm extremely excited for the next pay-per-view.
Which one's that one?
Cormier, Stipe, and then
dude, I don't know who I want to win because
I
like
want
both
Stipe.
of them. I know you do, but I like both of them so much.
The reason I want Stipe is because if Cormier wins, he's gonna retire, and then the belt's just up for grabs.
Yeah, that's true.
And chances are Stipe is gonna end up fighting for it again.
Yeah, he'll fight who would be.
It'd be Ngannou.
Oh, that'd be a fun fight.
Ngannou is the next in line for a.
Gustafsson isn't heavyweight. He's light heavyweight, right?
He's light heavyweight.
He's light heavyweight
because he fought John Jones. And stuff.
Yeah,
he's fighting tonight.
Is he?
Gustafsson versus Verdum.
Oh, that'd be.
And then Till and Whitaker is tonight as well.
Oh, okay.
That'll be a great fight.
That'll be a good fight. I don't know who I want to win that fight. I like Darren.
I like Darren Till.
Yeah.
And he's had a lot of. Also on that pay-per-view, Sean O'Malley.
Oh, really? He's fighting tonight?
No.
On the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's April. Oh, fuck. I'm all over the place. August. Okay. August 15th.
Okay.
So
3 days after my sister's birthday. Okay.
Yeah. So it'll. That's gonna be a good fight.
That will be a good fight. I'm glad they're kind of spacing this one out because they've had a bunch like back to back to back kind of.
Well, and then tonight's the last one really before that pay-per-view. I think there's one more after this.
Okay, like a fight night or whatever they are.
That flyweight fight was really good too. I can't remember the names of the fighters, but they did the championship fight the other night. I'm
trying to think. God dang it.
Their names are so hard to...
Oh, are you talking about Peter Yan?
No.
Okay.
It was on a fight night.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was the flyweight. I can't remember the name. I guess I could look it up real quick. But that was a good fight. And then we had... what other fights were there? I guess that was it, huh? Oh, Calvin Kattar beat Dan Ige.
Okay.
That was a really good fight.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, let me see. Flyweight. Oh, no, it's right here. Benavidez and Figueiredo.
Okay.
And Figueiredo won the...
Okay.
It was a good fight.
There's so many new fighters now.
I know.
I haven't...
It's hard to keep up.
It's just, yeah. I used to know a bunch of them, and now it's like, I feel like I just lost track. It's like with sports, I don't know. Even baseball. Like, I just got the show, and I've been playing it, and I'm like, I don't even know who half these people are anymore. Like, or football and, like, basketball are, like, the only ones I really follow still. So it's, like, just because I play fantasy. So, like, yeah. It's
easy to tell. But even then, it's hard to remember from year to year.
Yeah, basketball's easy just because usually it's the same players. There's very few new players. They may switch teams, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's only the rookies usually that get in. There's not very many. It's like, well, football, there's how many rookies plus, like, just random guys that you've never heard of coming up and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like Cole Beasley. Like you never knew who he was until he, you know what I mean, started playing well or whatever for the Cowboys. Like that kind of stuff. Like no one would know who he is until he has a good game randomly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm excited for just for all these sports to start coming back. It's gonna be great.
I know. I'm excited. It won't happen anytime soon, but to go to a game again, just to you know what I mean.
We were gonna go to the Broncos Raiders game this year.
I don't know. Nobody's gonna be going to games. I don't think this year.
I don't think so either.
Maybe.
I think that's part of it.
Maybe January.
They said they might do like a few fans, but they'd all be season ticket holders.
Yeah. Chiefs tackle, I think it was, one of their offensive linemen decided to opt out of his contract this year to help with COVID. He's like working, I guess, in Canada.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's their starting offensive tackle.
Fisher?
No, the other one. I didn't recognize his name, but he has a PhD in something, and so he's a doctor, and he was helping them.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he opted out. He's getting paid like $150,000 instead of his $2.5 or $3.5 million or something like that. Yeah. And he's like the first one to do it. What?
I'd take $100,000 to not play, and you just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, and he's helping with COVID too, so everybody's that guy's a hero. Yeah. Like basically, I was like, that's pretty cool.
It's an interesting story for sure.
Yeah, he's the first one to do it, I guess. I thought he was gonna opt out because he opted out because of COVID. That's what the title said. So I thought maybe he's like, I'm not playing because of the health risks. Or whatever. Like
that was another thing too.
I'm surprised some people aren't like, hey, my grandma has whatever, I'm not gonna play this year.
They said they can.
Yeah, that's what I figured you could legally fight that, I think.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
that was part of the NFLPA's thing.
Yeah.
Like so players can
I don't think
opt out of games.
Players won't do that though, I don't think. They're too
greedy.
They're too
competitive.
Greedy, yeah, with their competitiveness, not because of money, but I think
it could be both.
Some of them, but I think most of them just like to play too much, and that's. How about me being an optimist?
Sure,
like you know what I mean. It's not always.
I believe it too. Yeah,
some of them
the competitive nature.
Money. Yeah, but most of them are like, I just want to play. Like I don't, you know what I mean. I don't care if I get paid. I just want to play. Like,
sure.
Do you think J.J. Watt really cares?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think he would have been playing football no matter what. He's one of those guys that would probably be playing on that random team in your hometown.
Right. Well, he's one of those guys that's dedicated to just the game itself, like so much so that it like is his life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like he'd be playing on that, flag football team.
IFL.
Yeah, 45-year-old playing on a flag football team, like
yeah, getting hurt still.
Yeah, you don't care. Yeah, breaking his or ripping his bicep or whatever he did the last time. Poor guy, though.
I know. He's so good.
And, like, watching him work out and stuff like that, he works so hard. You can tell. And then he's too explosive. I think that's what they say. It's like his body is not strong enough for himself, basically. Like, he's too strong for his muscles and stuff like that. Which is insane. Cause I don't know.
Yeah.
And then his brother is just going to become the best linebacker there is. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, TJ?
Yeah. He started out really well.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah.
And I think isn't the other brother on the Steelers now?
Is he?
Derek?
Oh, is he?
Fullback?
Oh, okay.
I think he's on the Steelers with him.
The new Gronkowskis, huh?
Yeah, right. Wait, who's the other one?
Well, there's 3 Gronkowskis.
Are there?
Yeah, because there's one that played for the Broncos. Remember? He's a fullback.
Okay.
And then there was 2 other tight ends that would play for the Patriots. There was Gronkowski, and then there was another one. I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure. At least 2.
I know the Matthews.
Yeah. Well, and then their father and uncle played too.
Yeah.
And then the Colquitts.
Yeah.
Both brothers. There's a few other ones,
Right.
Yeah.
The family.
Yeah, I think it's Peyton.
Chubb.
Really?
Nick Chubb and Bradley Chubb are cousins.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
They both play in Georgia too.
I don't think so.
Where did Bradley play?
He played for North Carolina.
That's okay. So Nick Chubb played for Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Still
that,
right there.
Oh, I'm rooting for Randy Moss's son too.
Yeah, who is he with? Is he with the Redskins or the football team?
Yeah, I think it is with them.
I think it is
it's somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for him because he didn't get drafted.
I couldn't believe that.
Great tight end.
Yeah, I was actually pulling for Denver to maybe snag him late.
Well, I think that's what everybody's idea was. Is they knew they probably could get him after the draft, so they were trying to wait. Yeah, which is crazy to me because maybe he didn't have that great of a season, and we only saw his good moments during the playoffs and stuff like that. But he had some of those catches where, like, really good catch. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I don't know. Sometimes you only catch them in their greatest moment. You know what I mean? And
Was he
not
their
all the time.
starting tight end?
I don't think so. I thought he was their, like, blocker tight end.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
Because
I don't know much about him. I just know that he.
we even got an LSU guy.
Did we?
Yeah, it's our Lloyd Cushenberry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he'll probably be starting center.
Nice.
And then, yeah, it's crazy. We got him in the 3rd round, too.
I know. He's rated pretty high.
This might be... Is he?
Well, in 2020, I picked up a roster off of Blind.
Oh, okay.
And it's supposedly supposed to be pretty good, but you never know.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, we have a... I thought we had probably one of our best draft classes we've ever had.
I think so.
And they've all signed their deals now.
We've had a couple of draft classes where we've gotten, like, really good players, like Chubb or, like, Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, but not the whole draft class was good. You know what I mean?
And that's
There's a
how it
couple
feels
in there
this
that's
time.
like bowls.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff.
But
Where it's
yeah,
just like, we pick 2 good ones and then, like, 3 bad ones or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not, like, as solid. But yeah, I think this year... Well, like, with Judy being number 1, our first round.
That's
like,
probably the first time we've had a first round. Well, Chubb, when we got Chubb, it was like...
pretty exciting.
That was a big deal.
Yeah. Vaughn, when we got the number 1
See, and
the number 2 pick, right? It was number 2
He was
pick?
the number 2, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
who
a
was
big
the
one.
number 1 pick?
Cam.
Oh, that was that year?
Because that was a big deal in the Super Bowl.
Oh, I forgot
It was the
about
number
that.
1 versus the number 2.
Dang, Vaughn's been playing forever then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while.
8 years, probably? 7 years? It's got to be somewhere around there, right?
He's getting close to 10.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I think this is the last year of his contract, too.
Is it?
Or if not, the second to
I
last.
don't know.
He's getting...
I'm excited to see how Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay do, but I don't know if it was the smartest thing for us to pick up the 2 running backs.
I don't think it is at all because...
We have Freeman, too.
I think Freeman's the most underrated player on our team right now.
I think so, too. And that's what sucks is because, well, maybe they see something that we don't see, like he's just not performing like they want him to or
True.
whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And they have Lindsey... I think Lindsey's still going to be the starter.
That's fair.
He deserves it.
Yeah, he does after last year and stuff.
And he's
but,
the hometown guy.
I want Melvin just to pound the ball and then have...
I think that's the plan.
Yeah. I think it's good for Locke because he doesn't have to worry about throwing as much, but we have a decent wide receiver core, especially with Sutton and Judy and then
Hamlin.
and Fant. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with the tight end, like, yeah.
And we picked up that other tight end too, Alberto.
Okay, I didn't know that.
He is I think he was the fastest tight end in the draft.
Okay.
I think he ran a 4.4.
Nice. But I mean, just Fant. I think Fant's going to be one of the next tight ends that comes out of nowhere kind of thing. Like
I think so too.
Kittle or what, you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
those
yeah.
guys where they just like, who is this dude? Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
I think
Travis
so too.
Kelce, you kind of knew about coming out, but like,
Because
Great
T.J.
talent.
Hawkinson was the guy
yeah.
that draft class, and they went to the same school. Fant
Yeah.
and Hawkinson.
Yeah, yeah.
And Fant was...
Well, Hawkinson would be good if he wouldn't get hurt so many times. I mean,
Mhm.
how many? He had like I think 2 games last year with 2 or 3 touchdowns. Right? Wasn't that last year or the year before?
It was last year because
he had a couple of games where he just like went off, and then it was like the rest of the season.
I had him
he
as
did
a late
Yeah.
fantasy
but
pick.
he just didn't do anything
Yeah, he
after
didn't
that.
really perform.
What do you think about? Do you think some of the Titans are going to go a lot higher in the fantasy football draft this year? Then, like, well, obviously
Titans players?
Yeah, Henry's going to go number 1.
You think?
You don't think so?
Number 1 overall?
Close to it, top 5 at least. Don't you think?
Yeah.
He was in the top 5 for finishing.
I mean, he was the rush leader last year.
I think he finished top 5, didn't he? Points wise, he's got to be top 5.
I'd still take McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's fair.
But maybe not because of Teddy Bridgewater.
That's true.
I mean, he's not playing with... Although he didn't play with Cam hardly last year
No.
anyway.
No,
I
he's
still-
gonna get his screen passes.
I
and-
still think McCaffrey's the number... Because McCaffrey had the most fantasy points.
Well, what about Barkley though? I mean, he still had a decent
could be
year,
up there.
even though he was hurt, and then Chubb too.
Mhm.
I mean, but you also have to remember Chubb's with what's his name now, Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
have those two. So if you're gonna pick Chubb, you've got to get Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, it's hard because...
Because I almost did that last year, and then I was like, nah, I'm not going to worry about it. And it ended up working out for me not having Kareem Hunt. But I think this next year, he's going to be implemented a lot more.
Henry's still definitely top 5.
But I was going to say,
for sure.
but what about Brown for the Titans? Like, he's going to be one of the top wide
yeah.
receivers taken.
I agree.
And then, what's his name?
Tannehill.
Yeah, I mean, he played...
I think Tannehill's still a second quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think
you're,
he's your
you're
starter.
taking him in like the 7th or 8th round. You're
Yeah.
not, but still, I mean, you gotta watch. I
a
would
good
watch
backup.
for him. Yeah. Well, if you
Um,
get Brown, I would take Tannehill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want those tandems, kind of like that.
Yeah, their defense is good too.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
their defense I wouldn't like mind having either.
Yeah.
In a late.
Yeah, that's true too. That's another one I haven't thought about is defenses.
I hardly ever think of that.
I know, me too. I used to.
Because it's so hit or miss.
Well, dude, and like half the time, if you just pick the team that they tell you to pick in the waiver order, like the top team, you usually just do fine.
Ultimately,
You know what I mean?
yeah, and what I do, even sometimes if I don't believe in my defense as much, I'll just switch to a defense with a good matchup
That's
on
what
the
I'm
waiver.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I
It's
see
like
what you- yeah.
you can literally do that week to week, and you would just be just fine.
Yeah.
Because if you scored 5 points,
Same
with
with
your
kickers
defense-
anymore, almost.
Yeah, unless you have that number 1 kicker.
Yeah. You got to have like a top 3 kicker.
Yeah,
Or just
you know,
like if you have Justin Tucker,
yeah, or Bailey is not the kicker for the
Dan Bailey,
for the
Vikings now.
Oh, is it? Who's the Chiefs?
Oh, yeah. What is that guy's name?
But that him, like you know
Yeah.
what I mean, like a team you know is going to be scoring.
Butker,
Butker, yeah, Butkiss.
Harrison Butker,
Yeah, or like what's his name from the Ravens?
Tucker.
Tucker, yeah, you know what I mean, like those kind of guys where you know that the team's going to be scoring so much that you're going to be getting extra points. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's nice being a seasoned person in fantasy because
I
you kind of know.
Dude,
I looking at myself
I'm
now.
trying to think how many years I have been playing fantasy. It's been a long time before I moved to Nashville. So
This would be like my 7th or 8th year.
yeah, I was gonna say like 10 years I've been playing. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy
Only
to
won like twice.
really. Yeah, see, I've never won, but I've gotten in second a couple times.
It's way harder to actually win. Like you can have a good team and still suck. Like you know what I mean? Like
My plan. I don't know if my plan will be the same this year because there's been a lot more tight ends.
yeah.
But I drafted a tight end high
High.
in
I
both
know.
my,
I know you drafted Kelsey. I think second round,
and
I
it
did.
worked out pretty well for me in both my.
Yeah,
But now I think the
my
tight ends have,
strategy finally panned out.
which was
Heavy running backs right away.
that's usually the
Yeah, I usually
that's like the
first
formula.
2 picks. My first 2 picks are usually running backs, if not first 3, and then I start going for wide receivers, which kind of almost bit me in the ass this last year though because my wide receiver core wasn't that great until I picked up. Who was it?
you can get really good late.
Yeah, it
wide
just depends on who
receivers.
gets hurt. But I found somebody right at the end that helped me. I can't remember who it was. I don't remember, but you know what I mean. Like they started scoring me 20 points every week towards the end of the season, and I had just picked them up off free agency.
Yeah, I would. I go usually running back, and then
Obviously, you have to go what is given, but yeah, running backs.
if there's too good of a wide receiver available, I'll take him.
Yeah, like if what's his name,
Michael Thomas.
or Julio Jones or
Yeah.
something like drops to 12th, you're gonna pick them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna say no to that, but like
Usually it's either running back, or running back, wide receiver, and then
yeah,
if I go running back, wide receiver, I will take another running back next.
yeah,
Or I'll go
definitely.
running back, wide receiver, and then either tight end or wide
I
receiver.
think
again.
last year I went running back, tight or wide receiver. I think, and then I think I went quarterback or another running back.
That's the
I
thing,
think
too,
I went
is
pretty heavy on
when
running backs right
quarterbacks
away.
and stuff start falling off the board, you gotta either decide if you're gonna
Mine is
fall
always,
in that.
My always strategy too is like if you do get a couple good running backs, you can always get rid of another one or something for a quarterback that you need. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can plan to trade away things too. Don't be afraid to get rid of stuff. Like,
Well, and unless you're getting a Lamar Jackson or a Patrick Mahomes,
yeah, you can.
you might as well just take a middle round.
You can pick up.
quarterback.
I think I can think of his name now. Drawing blank. Atlanta's quarterback.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, you can pick
There's
him
so
up
many
in the
good-
later rounds
Yeah.
every year, and he still does. He's top 10 quarterback every year.
Yeah.
I pick up Prescott the last 2 years. That's who I've had as my quarterback.
Rivers is one of the guys I
Yeah,
pick up.
and I mean he's not gonna do great. Like I think Prescott was top 10. I think maybe top 12, which is your starting quarterback. That's not great, but like.
But if you have a bunch of good running backs, because you
your
got to
team's
think
built around
your running backs and your wide receivers fill up 5 of your spots.
Yeah, and are probably scoring almost more points than your quarterbacks are now too.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Close to them. You know.
That's another thing that's nice about having multiple leagues is you can try different.
I usually like
strategies.
Like if I'm in 3 leagues, 2 of them I try to pick the same players, and then 1 league I try to do different, just because I'm not rooting for such a wide spread of people. Like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you'll be like say if Oakland's playing the Broncos and I have both of the running backs, you know what I mean? Or like the running back and the defense, like the Raiders defense, but I have Phillip Lindsay in 2 different leagues, you know what I mean? So I'm rooting for the Raiders to catch interceptions, but I want Phillip Lindsay to score touchdowns.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's hard that way. And it always happens. There's always at least one.
Yeah.
Depending on how many leagues you have.
Yeah. Or, you know, where you're on one team where you have, you know, Phillip Rivers for the Colts, and they have, what's his name? Hill. Or not Hill.
T.Y.
T.Y. Hilton, yeah. You know what I mean? So you're like, don't score to T.Y., but like, you know.
That makes it fun, though. Because you're sitting there watching, and you want your guy to score, but then you see the ball go in there, and you're like, who is it?
I know.
T.Y., no!
Or when you're wanting, like you want Odell to catch it, not Landry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have Odell, and the other guy has Landry, and you keep throwing it,
It really is nothing more exciting than watching a game that you don't have any, stake in.
But that one player.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'll sit on the edge of my seat just waiting for that player to catch the ball.
I think I've told you the story, and it's not football, but basketball. It was the last game of the season. It was the finals. I was in the championship against some kid, and we were really close, and it ended up, I was up by, I think, like 2 or 3 points at the start of the last game of the season, like of the NBA season, and it was, I think he had Damian Lillard, and I had like Jamal Murray or something, like, I don't remember who it was, but so, and the game just kept going back and forth where I would be up by 2 points, and then he would be up by 2 points, and then I'd be up by 2 points. Oh no, it was Donovan Mitchell and Damian Lillard, because I had Donovan Mitchell, that's what it was.
Okay.
And so I think Donovan Mitchell scored like a 3-pointer to make me go up by 2 points, and then so I'm like, oh no, like there's 20 seconds left, Damian takes the ball down, shoots a 3 at the end of the game, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Because if he makes it, that's 3 points for them, and I lose by 1. And he misses it, so he gets -2, so I end up winning by 4 points.
Oh, you get negative points for
I missed -1. So I ended up winning by 3 points. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like that. It was literally the last shot of the game, the last 2 players on our team.
Win or lose.
You know what I mean? Like,
make or break.
I was up till like midnight because it was in Portland, so it's like, you know what I mean. So I'm staying up trying to watch this game, and it was like just
for
to
playoff
win.
implications.
No money,
or not for for
to
fantasy.
win. But no money. There's no money involved. It was just me playing on ESPN.
Still though,
I know, but it was just funny
for a game that you would have no interest in. Those 2 teams.
No, I would have watched the first quarter and then probably fallen asleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. It's 9 o'clock. But it's like, no, I got to see if I win the championship. Because I was undefeated that season too, so I was like, if I lose this last game against the kid, that, you know what I mean,
and imagine him
twice
watching that same game.
I know,
watching that 3-pointer, and he's like, oh.
I know, it's the 2 of us don't even know each other, but hoping we, that's what's fun about fantasy.
It makes every game important, or at least more interesting. In some fashion, if you care enough about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But looks like we hit that.
Good. Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that's a good stopping point.
Sure. Anything you want to close out with, or anything you want to plug? Anything people should be watching or listening to?
No, I don't know. I don't have anything to promote.
Sure.
What's Pow's podcast? I guess. So promote that one.
Versed in 10.
Versed in 10. Yeah, there you go. Promote that one.
Yeah. No, he was on last week, so
promote
we did like
this,
a cross promotion deal.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So, right on. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and make sure to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it.